Hi, welcome to Just One More Thing. I'm your host, Janessa. You're about to see kind of a quick, super short half episode of the podcast this week. I'm uploading it kind of at my normal time, but it was recorded last Saturday. You'll see explanations about it in the podcast, but I just wanted to jump in kind of here at the beginning and give a little intro to the fact that I am changing up the timing of the podcast and who I'm podcasting with, which you will see very shortly. So kick back with your knitting and enjoy. That way. Okay. Are you ready? Spoiler warning from the top. I am going to be working on my What the Fade this whole time. So I'll put that in the title too, so that if you don't want to be spoiled, you won't get spoiled, but you are going to see me doing some knitting. You might notice that I have somebody new with me today. Can you give them your name?
My name is Brooklyn.
This is my daughter Brooklyn, and she's going to be my new co-host. So we were talking the other day, and she was asking about my knitting podcast, and she said that she does lots of creative stuff too. And when I say it's a podcast about knitting and crafting, she's the and crafting of that sentence. She's the one that does more of the the beading and the drawing. Yeah. So she wanted to come on the podcast and talk about that stuff with you instead of just me showing stuff every once in a while. So she's going to do the podcast with me from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday. So the title of this podcast is going to be Changes.
What?
It's a song. Don't worry about it.
What?
It's a song. There's a song where they go changes. It's an old song. Oh. It's a really old song. So anyway, the changes. Let's talk about those. Obviously, Brooklyn's a change, having a co-host on the podcast. Things might look a little different behind me. What did we do today, Brooklyn?
We arranged our living room.
Did we arrange or did we rearrange?
Rearrange.
We completely switched the living room around. I'm going to try to find the right strand of yarn. We might cut that a little bit out. Okay, yeah, so today I got it in my head that we needed a new setup. If we were going to be able to have two people on the podcast, we weren't going to be able to hide in my little tiny corner where I had the chair in front of the knitting shelf. So we rearranged the furniture around, and now we have more room. We also got rid of, do you know how many trash bags we got rid of?
About 4 or 5.
4 or 5. 4 or 5 trash bags full of junk and clutter. Because when I
a clutter rat.
A pack rat. Daddy's a pack rat. Yeah, when I start cleaning and rearranging stuff, I purge hard. Throw it out. We haven't seen it in years. We don't need it. Throw it out. So, I'll show you the little tiny bit of stuff. So, did we get through all the changes? We changed the arrangement of the living room.
We changed the podcast.
We changed the day of the podcast. We're now going to podcast on Saturdays, so Brooklyn can be here to podcast with me, because otherwise she's in school. And so yeah, changing the day and the arrangement and a new co-host. Those are all the changes.
Mm-hmm.
So let me talk a little bit about what we've got on the needles, and then Brooklyn will talk about her creative stuff.
Yeah.
So I am working on What the Fade, and I like this setup more because now I can show, I'm not so close up that you can't see the whole gorgeousness of this shawl. Do you want to hold up this little bit? I'll show them. So there's a good half of it. All the brioche fading, and then I am on to clue 6. I'm working with my colors A and B. So this is A and this is B.
I remember them.
Well, because you have to knit them in a certain order. It was a fade, so I had to knit them. I had to know that this was color F and this was color E and this was color D and C, so that they all went in the right order. Otherwise you don't get a fade, you just get randomness.
Oh.
But But see how it kind of looks like it's melting? Look on the
Yeah.
screen. See how it kind of fades into one another?
Yeah.
That's what we were looking for. So, I am working on that. 5 and 6 of the clues came out. Clue 5 is melting down through the garter stitch into color A and binding off almost 600 stitches in an I-cord bind off. Excuse me. And then clue 6 is tassels. I'm going to put tassels on it. She likes tassels. Okay, so I'm going to knit and you're going to talk about your drawing, and I'm going to ask you questions about your drawings and your beading. What do you want to show first?
I'm going to show this cool necklace. So my mom found this on Facebook. My mom found something like this online. We call it a safety pin bracelet. And she's like, "Hey Brooklyn, come over here." And I said, "What?" I was like, "Whoa." She's like, "That's safety pins." I was like, "Wow, I think I could do that." But I watched a video on her phone, and it kind of looked a little...
YouTube video to the rescue, huh?
So, yeah. And then I got my, stuffed animal, Popsicle Sky, and I tried it on, and we tried to fit it on her, and it fits her, only it kind of slouches down on the top.
So you made that for one of your stuffed animals?
Yeah, I made this for my stuffed animals.
But you could also use it as like a bracelet or something, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking on doing.
Here, like hold your wrist up there. So we could... Pretty bracelet. Okay, so what else do you have that you can beading on? These are some earrings that you made?
And they're made from wood, beads, circles, and black, and they will go with about anything.
Cute.
And then there's the other pair. It's kind of a little...
Now we're going to talk about drawing. And you have the Osmo set.
It's called Masterpiece, and it's a really... I like it a lot. It helps you... There's like a little... It helps you... You just trace around an image. Like when it's on the screen. Like tap on it.
So it projects the drawing that you want, and it has a mirror so that you can see your hand, and it kind of helps you draw. It's almost like tracing, but not quite. I'll put in a little video that it creates while you're doing the drawing, so you don't actually have the drawing. I'll take a little video of you doing it, okay? It's easier to show than it is to explain. So we'll take a video of you drawing on Osmo, and then we'll plug it in. Drawings that you've done.
The first one I have is Patch.
You might have to... They're pencil drawings, so here, I'll hold them up.
And Patch is my favorite cat, and I decided to draw him. So I had some some photos of him on my iPad, and so you can like take pictures, and it's on.
So any picture that you have on your iPad, you can put through and do the drawing with Osmo?
Yeah, it already puts it on there.
What other pictures do you have for Osmo?
And I really like Paw Patrol, and I have been drawing like new members.
Now, are these members that you made up, or are they actual members that you found?
They're actual found. That one is Bang. He is an explosion pup.
What's this drawing on the back?
Oh, that's Zuma.
Oh, that's the back of Zuma flying away.
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like a robot.
And then this one is Bite. He's the electric pup. And then on the back is Tara. She's the mining pup.
Okay.
And then...
So for those of you that don't know, Paw Patrol is a cartoon where the dogs are like police officers and...
No, not police officers. Like other dogs.
Like they're based off of like police officers and firefighters
and like anything. I found that one.
Here's one where apparently the puppy got his tongue stuck on ice.
It needs help.
Do you have any that you've freehanded that aren't on Osmo?
I have to go.
So these are ones that she did without the tracing help of Osmo. What's that one?
Her name is Cuba.
Cuba?
She's a nice rescue pup.
What does she do?
She saves people on the ice and snow.
Okay.
Like
that one's Spooky?
Yeah, Spooky. He likes to scare people, but
so these she just did on her own.
That one is Commander. He's a space pup.
And then
that one is Camellia.
So tell me one that you did with Osmo.
Here's Cooper and Kendra.
Okay.
Cooper,
so
this one's Cooper. I did this one on Osmo.
That's one where it's kind of like tracing. And then that's the one where it's freehand. So the nice thing about this Osmo gadget is that Masterpiece. The Masterpiece game on Osmo is that it helps, even though you're tracing, it kind of helps you learn to look at a picture and know how you need to move your hand. So it really improves the freehand drawing as well as the tracing. Good job, kiddo.
Thank you.
So why do you like to draw? Why do you like to be creative?
Well, I just like drawing. I like drawing pictures in my free time.
Your free time? What's your favorite part about creativity?
I also like to make necklaces too.
But is it like making stuff up and designing stuff, or is it just relaxing?
It's relaxing.
Relaxing.
And making stuff up and designing it.
You just like being creative, all the aspects?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from now on, just one more thing, will be a knitting and crafting podcast where I get to talk about my knitting and my spinning and crochet. And Brooklyn gets to talk about drawing and beading. You crochet too a little bit.
Oh,
sometimes. Maybe this podcast will get her back into knitting and crocheting with Mom. That's my secret hope. No. So Brooklyn will be talking a lot about like her beading and craft projects and drawing and things like that.
And probably in the next episode I'll show you how to draw something.
Well, we'll put in we'll do some tutorials and things like that stuff along the way. We'll have lots of fun stuff along the way where you get to talk about how you get to be creative and all your different crafty fun things that you do. Okay? So until then, I hope you have a great week and we will see you next Saturday. Bye.